Let's see. Why does chess art have the pawn? Yeah, that's a very good question. Maybe because chess art played last time, played out the last move. So, all right, we're good to go now. This was the quiz that I wanted to do here on you. This was the last thing I wanted you to see. This is basically the pretty picture that I wanted you to see. All right, just like that. Okay, nice. So we're talking about developing the initiative, playing for an attack, the relative value of the pieces. That's right, skilled saver, razor bill. You're right, Mexico. You got it. Aha. And some people were very close also. Yeah, we looked at all kinds of moves here. So basically we're talking about using our pieces in the best possible way, taking maximum advantage of our bishops, for instance. Let's ask the skill saver. You were fastest here. What was your take on this position? King h8, that's also what Johnny Hector played. In some earlier games, they had played bishop h4, trying to cash in as soon as possible, but he found this move instead, king h8. I don't know if it was preparation or it was at the board, but in any case, it was a very strong move because now black keeps like more options. We can take and we can play d5 and there is no pin anymore. So on, white played in the game bishop c2. What did black play here, skilled saver? Now we can seize the center here very quickly. You can see now we have d3 coming up next. White took on c4 and Johnny Hector had no intention at all to take this exchange. That would be completely wrong in this video. He played d5 instead and he continued to push these pawns and he went on to win. All right, that's actually interesting because we're talking here a little about sacrifices. Black sacrificed in the opening, white accepted, and then they ran into some difficulties. And that's our new topic. We're talking about accept or decline. I'll write it here, accept or decline, about dealing with sacrifices. How to proceed when the opponent sacrifices something against us. That's the topic here. And I think it's a very interesting topic. I think all of you have been in that situation on both sides. You sacrifice yourself, but sometimes you find yourself receiving the sacrifice, you could say. So many things can happen in those positions. And I just wanted to ask all of you, could you tell me something about like general guidelines? Any general thoughts about how to react when facing a sacrifice? Anyone would like to say something? Exactly, Tori says, good thinking. Always check if you can take. Exactly. I call this checking the acceptance. First, we should check the acceptance. Heuristic mind says, usually it's best to take material since you can give back. Excellent thought. Very often we can accept the sacrifice and later we will simply give back some or all of the material that we gained, right? So these are two good principles. We always check if you can take and always be ready to give back if necessary. And then I can add some other ideas also, like razor bill. The best way to refute a sacrifice is to accept it. I would not be that. I wouldn't generalize that much now because that depends a lot about the situation. Some sacrifices, exactly, skilled saver, counter sacrifice. Some sacrifice they have to be accepted, and some have to be declined. There could be a mate in one or something. No, there are many aspects. But one thing I want to say also, but okay, we will come to that. But one last thing I wanted to say before we check the examples. If your opponent sacrifices something, they are kind of, let's see here, they are kind of breaking the rules, if you see what I mean. They are doing something they were not supposed to be able to do. So if they can do that, bishop takes h7, just like that, unpunished, that's probably wrong for us. We're letting them do something that supposedly our position did not allow. So, okay, there was another last comment here. Check for counterplay in the center or on the other side of the board. That's true also. On some occasions, when they sacrifice, you can actually ignore the sacrifice and go for a counterattack. We will look at all that. Now I think it's time to bring up our examples. I will start with an example it comes from a game which was played recently in the FIDE Grand Swiss, if you remember that very, very strong Open tournament. So this is a game that was played. White pieces Hushenbet, and the black is Idani. Yeah, two grandmasters from Germany and Iran, if I'm not mistaken. You can see that it's a tricky position. Some funny pieces like this rook on h4. You can see that black's rook is in the air. Something's going on the king side. It's slightly chaotic, this position, no? So what to do with black here? Well, we have to do something about the rook. You could play something like rook f5. It would be perfectly possible, and chances would be more or less balanced here, I would think, at least. Also, I think black's bishop, it has a great future, and while white's bishop is not so powerful right now. So rook e5 was perfectly possible. There is another funny move here. Anyone? Do you remember the lifeline? Any lifeline with black here? If you're playing with the black pieces, anyone remembers the idea with the lifeline? Exactly. Queen b5. Who's moving, by the way? Somebody is sitting with the pawn here still. It must be Skilled Saber, no? Yeah, good work, Skilled Saber. This is, I think, the computer's favorite move here. For some reason, it likes this. I guess it's because it's also hitting the pawn. So Queen b5, very good move. This is the famous lifeline. We're offering a trade of the undefended enemy piece, the queen on e2. And if they move their queen somewhere, I guess we can move our rook somewhere, maybe here or, yeah, something like that. Anyway, what does this have to do with our topic, you will say? Well, that comes now. Because the Iranian grandmaster, he played a much more interesting move. Black played at this point the move bishop e8. So here we are, facing a sacrifice. We could take on e5. Should we do that? Should we maybe do what Tori Chess said? We should first check the acceptance. Well, I will leave that to you. It's your move here, and you'll have to tell me what you think is the best way to proceed here with white. All right, I think I give you only 1 minute for this. So white to play, try to find the best way of dealing with this sacrifice. Okay, Gordon and Resorbil, I can happily give you full point. They did not play like that. They played a very similar move, but your move is fine also. So perfectly possible. We have two winners already, Gordon, Resorbil. Also, Zach Pan, you found it also. Yeah, good work. Nobody played like the Grandmaster yet, but don't worry, heuristic mind, that's fine. Chessable Classroom, fantastic place, but it can only give you one correct line. Chessable Classroom will tell you heuristic that your choice is wrong, but it's actually perfectly fine. The same goes for you, El. You can play like that. It's funny that all of you wanted to put the queen there, while the Grandmaster put the queen. Oh, we have a winner here, Mexico Real. You got it. Marcus, you also found it. Good work. So basically, there are two good choices here. Brian, Tori Chess. That's right. Tori was actually applying this idea of checking the sacrifice first. So, all right, let's, nice to see you, El and Wyatt. So some of you had a good option on the second move. We will talk about that. But okay, Mexico Real, please go ahead. How did you continue here? You're the fastest thinker here. Or you're the first one to step in the footsteps of Grandmaster Hushenbet. So we take on e5 because we have seen that after queen takes e5 with a double threat of queen takes a1 and queen h2. Nothing to worry about. There is a move which solves everything. Queen a2. That's what white played in this game. However, all of those, don't get angry at me. It's okay to play queen e1 if you played queen e1. No problem. Blue or pastor, says Tori Chess. I know what you're trying to say. This simply means that the king is getting ready to move away, right? Queen e1 would also work. It was perfectly fine to play like that. It would be basically the same thing. We just run away with the king, and we have enough pieces to save our king. I guess in some way, perhaps white in the game, they wanted to have the queen controlling the light squares, possibly. Black played queen h2, and after, you can continue here. Who was playing? Mexico. You can continue, right? Aha, there are not many choices here. Not here either. So that's how the game went. And here he made a nice choice, Hushenbeth. It's this, you can say, modern generation. We don't believe in any fairy tales, no? He just took the pawn on a5. I'm not afraid of anything, he's saying here. And that's what happened in the game. White was completely winning. Black tried some few. Exactly. Upper rook is upper rook, says Salfak. That's right. Bishop d3, trying to scare white a little. Rook d4, good choice when you're rook up, trade off pieces. Rook e8, and this is the move I like. It's not the only move, but okay, I'll I'll quiz you. What would you play? Gordon says king d3. That's probably fine also. Yeah, I think most moves win here, but I like the move he played in the game. That's black is bluffing, you could say also. Yeah. Anyway, he played here rook f1. I like this topic. We had this in the defensive ideas classes. That's what I call mobilization. No, mobilization to the to the defense. That's a very simple move. So yeah, that's how the game went. White went on to win. What was the little lesson here? Yeah, thanks Mexico. The lesson here, if they play something like that, even if it's Magnus Carlsen who plays this move, the first thing that you should check here is the acceptance, right? Like Tori said, check if it's possible to take, and that's indeed what happened here. We have two ways of stopping these two threats, or how would you say, coping with these two threats, and the best one would be to play here queen a2 or queen e1. Actually, both are fine, so that we can run away with the king. Aha. A rook is a rook, you're saying. Yeah, a pawn is a pawn, we used to say, I remember in Sweden. That's a pawn is a pawn. That if you're up a pawn, that's still very important. The rook, of course, that's even more. So yeah, easy to overlook, says Oski. I agree. I'm not sure exactly how black did I miss this. It's a strong grandmaster Idani, so maybe the miscalculation came later also. It's possible. So okay, we have seen a simple example of when it's perfectly possible to take. Beware that in these sessions I will give you plenty of examples where it's not okay to accept. So be prepared for that. Not on every occasion you should accept. I'll bring up my next example. This is between players who are not that well known, but they had. Oh, I'm surprised the grandmaster played bishop e8. All right, we're all humans, Sarthak. We can't play like chess engines and so on. This is a game played in France last year. At first sight, black appears to have a clear initiative, you could say. Active pieces, no fantastic knight on f4, good rook on the first rank. The queen is cutting like a knife, you would say. But as we just discussed, a pawn is a pawn. White is still a pawn up here. So it can't be that simple, no. And white is decently mobilized in the defense. So yeah, queen takes e5, yes or not is the question. No, King Sam, because when I give you the position straight away, you don't listen to me. You just start calculating, and I don't want that. So I'll give you the first move here. Black played at this point the move king f7, all right? So it's your move here, guys. White can take this pawn. Black could have played something like queen g7, right? Protecting the pawn. But they did not. They played king f7 here, simply giving up the pawn. Should we take this pawn or we should not? Well, that's the question for you guys. Please notice that the third move, it's a little tricky, all right? I will trick you. I will quiz you for a little combination here. Try quiz, of course. You can count on me. Of course there is quiz. I hope it's coming up now. Let's see. Yeah. So you should be able to find here White's best course of action. Should we accept that sacrifice? Find it. That's the question for you guys. Oh, sorry about that, Cesar. That must be a mouse slip, right? Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Interesting move, Skilled Saber. Wow, you're sacking the queen like that? No. That's an interesting move. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. I think I haven't looked at that move. Can I play queen f on that? Did you check queen f3, guys? All of those who say rook e2 to me? We should check that. No, I have actually not analyzed that, I think. Okay, so Mexico, Xalicia, JM Chess, Charles, and Sui, you were on the right track here. Yeah, I can give you half a point maybe. I'm afraid that the king escapes on the queen side now. Interesting move by HDI, Razor, Fianchetto, and Oski. That's probably okay also. Yeah, we can look at that. Forgot about the f2 knight. Oh, I see. So let's see who got really closest here. Let me see. Yeah, it's like a tie here. It's a tie. I think maybe what HDI is saying could work also. So please go ahead, HDI. You can tell us. No, I won't request. Some of you were very close. So we can indeed take on g5. At first sight, this looks like suicide because suddenly black's queen is coming now with big threat to take. But look at the move that HDI and other people noticed here, queen takes f6. You would say that's the end of it. King takes and knight e4 and white wins. However, it's actually not the end to it. Black will move the king instead. So I played here king e8, I think. And your next move was bishop h5. Is that so? HDI. Yeah, so I'm not sure about this move. I think I understand your point. You want to free the square for your queen, but I don't think you have a perpetual here. You'll have to convince me about that. I'm going to escape in this way. I have no idea how I missed queen f6. No problem. We all miss that kind of moves. So I don't know. We're still listening to you, HDI. You can tell us what was coming up next here. Not fully understandable. No, if you give these checks, I'm just saying that I have there is a fair chance that I can escape on this side. No, I'm moving the pieces here a little randomly. If somebody has a clearer picture, please let me know. Queen e6, king. I think also rook c7 might be a resource for me, right? And then I'm attacking a few different things here. So, yeah, not so clear. No, not so clear. But basically, if we go back to the very beginning, we are saying that king f7 is well intended. No, if queen takes g5, black has to move queen e3. Looks terrible. But you guys have noticed this move, queen takes f6. That's great. We just have to fix the final details here. What about queen a6? In that position, should we look at that? Oh, I didn't say that, 206. Interesting. We can look at that, of course, if you would like to. You're saying here, right? Queen takes a6. Yeah, I guess I play, well, you don't have this check, no? So could I put my king on a7, perhaps? Is that making sense? d6. Oh, maybe I should not. Maybe this is even dangerous for me. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe that was a bad idea. So should I go to... Yeah, what would happen here? Anyone with a fast tactical eye? Maybe something like that? Or am I dropping all my pawns now? Yeah, very tricky. I actually don't know. I'm starting to have bad feelings for black here. Maybe we should not have done. We get perpetual. Yeah, it seems like that's okay. So basically, that was probably also possible. I thought there was a nicer way to play, but I can give you. Yeah, heuristic says I think draw. Yeah, I think so too. Seems like it's a draw there. At least I cannot figure out a way to continue there. So that's probably okay. I think what the computer preferred was actually this move. I thought that was very nice because if we're going to give a perpetual anyway, we can first eliminate those pawns, right? And then I think it's easier now to get the perpetual. You can play something like that, and you're just checking like this, right? You're just checking like this, and the king cannot go up because then they're mated. Maybe you have seen this sometimes when you work with perpetuals. Instead of calculating move by move, you should try to like draw a little picture to see if you can find the squares on which the king would like to escape, and you see if you can keep the king controlled, something like that. So what if, knight e4 not possible. I don't know if you're talking about the same time now. The same thing here. King d7. Oh, did I blunder rook here? Maybe I gave a wrong check then. Oh, sorry about that. I must have missed something here. Is it another check? Which might be the other check then? Interesting. Wow. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Take on e5, says Tori. You're probably right, Tori. We better take that pawn instead. Aha. Even then, I don't think it's very clear what's going on here. It's a very messy position, but material-wise, white is fine now. But I think I looked at this also. Yeah, I don't really remember it. King f7, bishop h5. Somebody is talking about something else here. What if king d7 after bishop h5? I think that's what you're saying here. Queen takes, check, bishop h5. Interesting. This time it's black who is not taking accepting the sacrifice. You're right. Maybe we should just move away the king. Clever thinking. Aha. Exactly. Yeah, nice to see you, Greg. We're talking, dealing with sacrifices today. Accepting or declining sacrifices. Yeah, we just declined the sacrifice and it looks very promising. We are simply walking away to the queen side. So I think so. This would have been a good choice for black. So maybe for that reason, as Tori is saying, it's better to take. And after queen takes d2, we can take on e5. And we have a lot of checks here. You know what? I just remembered now. I think it's thanks to Greg showing up. My memory is coming back. I think we can actually play this. And after king d7, we go queen a7. This looks like a mistake, but after rook c7, we can just put the queen on b6. I think this is actually, it's better than what you would think, because we're now defending the knight, and at the same time we're getting ready to play f6 and bishop g4. Yeah, white's defensive construction, it's very powerful here, no? Yeah, hard to see this over the board for sure. The queen is a powerful piece, right? We can also use her for defensive purposes like that. So anyway, yeah, this is some kind of computer. I agree. This is probably not my original analysis. I'm not I'm not that skilled to see all this, of course. So in any case, going back to the position, black played here king f7, offering the pawn on g5. White in the game, unfortunately, they believed in black's fairy tale, and they played b4 here. I guess the point was to stop queen c5. But black played queen c7, and now the queen is invading, and black had a very big advantage. This time, I think queen takes g5, black will simply play queen c3. And as you can see, now there is no way we can get this trick in with a knight fork. No queen takes f6, exactly, kind king sound. So yeah, that's the problem here, what happened in the game. But white should have taken, they must have thought that this is impossible due to queen e3. But it turns out that they have this move, queen takes f6. It would be natural to think that the exercise stopped here, but actually it continues, and it gets even more confusing after black's declining the sacrifice, or whatever you would call it. But okay, white seems to be okay here. Bishop h5 was one idea. Another is to play queen takes d6 and continue with the checks. So if we could take the f pawn off the board, of course. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I think it's time for us to continue. Let's switch to a quite simpler example. Like an everyday situation, I think all of us, we have been in this. We will come to that Tory chess. Don't worry. We will talk about everything a little in these sessions. I think we will have at least 2 or maybe 3. So let's see if we can understand this next position here from game played in Slovakia last year. Famous Grandmaster Vtachnik with the black pieces. You can see that white is probably better here despite being a pawn down. It looks like white's king is safer. Also, the bishop is strong in this kind of position with open center and so on. This pawn is hanging. White's about to take it. You can see something with a fixed pawn on a6. Looks like things are going really well for white. So what happened here? Now it's black to play. I'm doing this because I don't like you to calculate when we should be listening and so on. So what happened here is that black played the move b3. All right. I don't need to give you any further instructions. You will have to find out yourself which would be the best way of continuing here in this example. Let me see if I can get this right. Beware that the third move is a little tricky, all right? The third move, it's the one that you'll have to see. Okay, I'll give you the whole variation here, which I think is very interesting. And if you can't find the whole variation, it doesn't matter, but that's my goal here, of course, that you will see everything. Okay, we're ready. Let's give you 1 minute, 10 seconds for this. So, free pawn is somebody saying here. Kind King says free pawn. All right, maybe you should look into that move then. They just played b3. Are they really supposed to do that? Can they just get away with that? Pushing the pawn that was about to get lost? Well, you'll have to figure out. Okay, no, you can't play that, Charles and Sui, no? I can take that rook if I'm not mistaken. But you're on the right track. Interesting move by Young, Skilled, Sak, L, Razor, and Mexico. Maybe you can play like that. What do you have against the rook f1 then, Young and company? Okay, we will talk about that. But you're on the right track for sure. Yeah, that rook d1. Oh, here, I see. Interesting. Many choices here, I see. Interesting. We have so many choices. But nobody played exactly like in my variation. But that doesn't mean it's so bad. Queen e3. Yeah, I think you can play that also. Queen e3, going for the endgame. I mouse slipped on the third move. So who was closest here? I'm wondering. Did anyone make it to move 4? Let's see. We have so many answers here. Wow. Yeah, Santos, you're definitely closest. So we have a winner here. We don't have to requiz. We have a winner here. Please go ahead, Santos. You have saved me on this one. White just took the pawn. Like Tori said, first thing to check if we can get away with taking. If you don't take, you're running the risk of running the danger of b2 being played next turn. You should not do that. You don't let black get away with that. If you took on f5 here, for instance, honestly, I haven't looked at this, but I would suspect that b4 can be b2. Sorry, can be annoying here. Some tricks with rook c1 coming up next. This looks insane to even allow that, right? So please don't do that. Okay, please come back, Santos, and tell us how does this work. We take the pawn. We're not afraid of black's counterattack, right? Aha. Black took on f2 with a rook. Those of you who said here, rook d1, that cannot be played, right? I have queen takes d1 in the pocket. Some of you were saying rook takes f5. I think there was some problem with that move. You're trading off an important piece here. Yeah, what would happen? Actually, I can't see this instantly. What would black play here? Take and rook f1. Can I do that, or I got mated or something? That's my first question here. If I could do that. Wow, what a nice knight now. That's really like a goalkeeper. I'm defending everything here, it seems. But feel free to refute me. Maybe I'm missing something. Rook b8 says heuristic. All right, that sacrifice I cannot decline. So I'll take. I guess you wanted to give check. Oh, you want to make a draw here? Yeah, maybe you can do that. Okay. Draw is okay for black, for sure. They are lost in the game, so draw is fine. King h3. Oh, I see. So actually then we're getting close to the solution. So if you said king h3 here, you're getting closer. But it looks a little dangerous, don't you think, Gordon? Because I can play knight f6 at some point. Yeah, not now. I should probably give check first. Also, I think I can take this pawn and I'm mating you, right? So that's not ideal for white, this outcome. Let's go back a little. So let's go back to Santos, who got the right solution. Please go ahead, Santos. You found the clever move here. Very clever, rook e3. Why do we play this? Well, this means that black cannot just play rook f1 just like that. If you look from black's perspective, if black is going to do something on the first rank, it's ideal to have the rook here and the queen there so that we have like maximal activity. But rook e3 means that the black queen will have to move away somewhere. And that's I played queen e3. Yeah, if you played queen e3, let me think about that. The problem is that you're going for the endgame now. I think black will accept that. Black will accept the endgame. Right now, I'm a up, right? I should just. So what would I play here? Knight f6 comes very natural. I have to move the knight, right? So I guess I have to play like that. And white has activity. No, for sure, for sure. I agree, of course. Yeah, what do you want to do? Rook d6 and hit the pawn. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But the rook endgame is coming closer, no? Maybe if I'm old and tired, I would even play something like that and just go for the rook endgame. And I should be able to make a draw here, I think, no? In this endgame, right? One good plan could be to bring the rook to the back of the pawn. So not completely convincing, no? Rook d1 on move 3. Yeah, we talked about that already, right? It's not a good idea, rook d1, because of queen takes. Queen g3, if you play that, I'm very tempted to play f4. Yeah, f4, right? Let me know if I'm missing something, but I think this rather helps black's attack, right? I would not play that. Should we maybe look at the right solution? Should we come back to Santos, perhaps? Or is there anything else that you would like to look at? What time did the class start? At the normal time, at 7:05. I was a few minutes late making a cup of coffee. So please go ahead. Sorry, Santos, we forgot about you. Please come back. Yeah, rook e3. So that's a very powerful move. Somebody here said counterattack, and that's what's going to happen here also. So if we now... Yeah, I forgot to say, nobody mentioned rook takes d7. Yeah, it was evident for everyone, right? This was black's key idea, to mate white in this way. But if we play rook e3 first, well, once I moved my queen somewhere else, this means that now you can safely take, right? Let's check with Santos' variation. Yeah, go for it. Rook takes. That's right. And after rook f1. Black has some feeble hopes of attacking here, but it's white who can start an attack now. I actually don't even know what's black's threat here, because he would have king g3 anyway, right? So yeah, what did you play here, Santos? I think you had the right move. No, you can go for mate here. You can go for mate yourself. So what to play if you're going for mate, Santos? Rook takes. You don't need to do that, I think, or maybe that works also. Yeah, queen e5 or queen d4, something like that. And yeah, you will say that's another computer variation, and I think it is. I think it is. But it's quite telling, no? White's king escaped here, and they will go for an attack instead. The king is actually much safer on g4 than on h2. What are we doing? Well, we are doing dealing with sacrifices, accept or decline. So the brave king, yeah, it appears in every position, it seems. It's funny, no? It comes up all the time. So in any case, let's go back again. Black played b3, and white said, I don't really want them to keep this pawn. It's not correct that they can keep this pawn alive. It's like black's only real hope in this position. So he just took on b3 in the game, Pasti. He took on it b3, and after queen check, king h2, if there is rook takes f2 trying to mate white, well, I don't have any problem with that. I will go for my own attack here in this position. That's what happened here. Aha. Yeah, like Alpha Zero. Yeah, you're right. So also in Johnny Hector's games, we saw some cases of a brave king and so on. In the game, actually, black took like that instead. Sorry, they played in the game. After rook e3, they played... what did they play in the game? Let's see. They played rook takes f3. But this was basically like resigning. No, white just took on f3, and after knight f6, rook takes f5. Yeah, nice way of piling up on the f file. White was completely winning. So bottom line here, guys, in this example, b3, please don't see any ghosts here. Don't say that, oh no, it's too dangerous to take. They will get the dangerous counterattack and so on. No, please. Please try to be objective. A bigger danger might actually be the black b pawn. Okay, let's continue. I wanted to show you something from the opening phase also. All right, one example from the opening. Let's see. Always take the free pawn. Not always, though, but okay. You'll see. Next time, I think we will have more examples where we are declining the sacrifice. This is a game that I played in the Asian Games last year. Gomez with white, and no less than Vidit with the black pieces here. So this starts like some kind of queen's gambit, but then white plays this solid approach with e3, a6. Vidit is always up to date and always ambitious in the opening. I think this is one of black's best choices. You can sometimes go for some kind of queen's gambit accepted and so on. But in this game, white played b3. Now of course, no d takes c4 anymore, since white can take with a b pawn then. So black plays c5, and we end up in some kind of quolle, no? Bishop e2, c takes, e takes, knight c6. So usually in these openings, I wanted to ask you, what about the destiny of the black bishop? Anyone? Where does this bishop go? You're right, L. Actually, in this structure, when the pawns are like that, it's very pleasant if you can put the bishop on g7. So that explains Vidit's next move here. You can, of course, play bishop e7, absolutely no problem. I should also mention that in these positions, it's actually common for black to do this later anyway, to play bishop f8, like a delayed fianchetto. You can do that. But Vidit probably thought that, why don't I do it straight away, since I already have this pawn structure. It's already fixed, and this also means that white's bishop is not so active. So, all right, he played g6, castles, bishop g7. You will say this would be a long maneuvering game and so on, but nothing of that kind, because here white, instead of playing a normal move like knight bd2, they played the move bishop a3. All right, anyone, can you tell me what's going on here? White plays bishop a3, they move the bishop again, but there is a price, right? There is a price connected to that. Aha, you're right. Oh, g5, you wanted to play g5. Interesting. Yeah, we can talk about that next time, if you like. Aha, white is trying to prevent castling. Very reasonable idea. You know, back in the 18th century or 19th century, Morphy and so on, they would do these things in the Evans Gambit and so on. So that's a famous idea, of course. Black could, if they are very cautious, they could go back with the bishop. But in the first place, I think Vidit, he had a big rating advantage in this game, so he did not want to repeat moves. with bishop e2. And secondly, I actually think that white is better after bishop takes. Somehow black is ending up with a bad bishop, king takes, and yeah, now white should take care of this pawn, maybe bishop e2. And who knows, maybe you can play something like that later on. So Vidit said, I'm actually able to take a pawn here. They are sacrificing a pawn, because after d takes e4, bishop takes e4 would look ugly, no, very ugly to play like that. Black would play b5, maybe b4, and then castle and so on. So Vidit took on c4, and after b takes e4, he can then take on d4. So that's the question basically for you guys. Should we take that pawn, or we should not take that pawn? That's the question which I would like you to answer. But there is a move that you will have to see here, okay? So let's see if I can get this right. You get only 1 minute this time, because I think most people understand which was Vidit's choice, but then there is a move that is very important that I would like you to find, okay? Okay, Razorbill, that seems to be Vidit behind that handle, because you found it so quickly. Jongjal, you're right. We have 2 winners so far. If you play like that, Yugoslavian, Sui, skill, Tori, heuristic, what can I say? That's what I hoped for with white. I think I can maybe take with a queen there. I would take with a queen. And then I'll try to bring a rook to d1 and a knight to e4. Yeah, I think Vidit would not be completely comfortable in that position. But okay, we will talk about that. Brian, 206, and L, we have more winners here. That's exactly what happened in the game. This is actually more interesting that you would think initially. Nice move by JM, HDI, Marcus, and Chess Art. It's related to the logic of the position. I think if you play queen a5, I would try to play bishop d6. Did you consider that, JM, HDI, Marcus, Chess Art, and Happy Pawn? I think that could be a move here, but okay, we'll come to that. Greg Shahadi also found the right choice here. Yeah, great work by Greg. So let's ask Razorbill. You were the fastest here, Razor, so please go ahead, tell us how to continue here. We take the pawn. Yeah, that has been the topic for today, it seems to. We would just accept every sacrifice. I think next week we will have to look at the other side of the coin, so that you don't go in the next tournament and you accept all sacrifices. Yeah, please don't. That's the wrong picture. But here it works very well. Knight takes d4. White played in the game knight d2. White has a development advantage, but this was the sneaky move that Vidit had prepared. Very, very nice. It's basically about getting rid of this bishop. That's really an annoying bishop, and in this way, we are finally able to dislodge this bishop, right? Razor, exactly, queen takes. So we had several winners. Now, Razor, Jong, Brian, 206, L, Connor, and Greg Shahadi. So at this point, if white wants to keep the bishop on the board, they will have to play something like, let's say, bishop c5. And yeah. Aha, queen takes b5. We are fighting against this bishop. I don't know if it can stay on this. I think 2 pawns already. It's probably not going to work in that way. But I haven't looked at this. Yeah, okay, that's like the boring choice. You can probably get away with that also. I was thinking of this, Razor. I don't know if you like my approach. I was going to give back something. Somebody said that today, that we can sometimes give back. I thought we could maybe give a little pawn, and then we can castle away. And we should be doing fine here. No, we can use this square. So, yeah, I think black is doing perfectly fine here in this position. Exactly. So that's what Vidit played in the game. Knight b5 was a very nice twist. We can look at some other options here also. Yeah, we're targeting both bishops now. So they don't really have any good choice here. I looked at, what else did I look at here? Knight e4. That's how the game went, by the way. That's the game, knight e4. What do you think, Razor? How do you think Vidit continue? Exactly, he took on a3. After queen a4, queen d7, if white takes, Vidit was ready to take like that. And it's interesting that in this position, would you take on a1, Razor, or would you play something else? Aha, RKDK, you're right. If you already have an extra pawn, you have the bishop pair and so on, please don't be too greedy. Maybe you can get away with this also. But it's, yeah, I don't know. But it looks much nicer if you play like, who said this? RKDK, yeah, this move. I mean, this is what I would expect Karpov or someone to play like that instead. If you already have a nice position, why risk too much? You don't need to play like Stockfish on every occasion. No, this is a very safe choice. Extra pawn and bishop pair and so on. So, oh, maybe you can take first, says Sarthak. Maybe. Yeah, if you say so. The computer will like your choice. It will play exactly like you. I don't know what would white play here. How can they possibly work on their initiative in this position? Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right, Southlight. You can play like that also. Yeah, no hard feelings. Uh, yeah, I agree with Vidit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is okay also. How could I possibly get some initiative with white? Maybe I put my queen on b2 and I put the knight on e5 and I try to fish for something. Yeah, probably not working, but why on earth would you? Okay, we have somebody moving the pieces here. Razor wheel is moving. But yeah, you're probably right, Razor. You can play like that. So, okay, matter of taste then. Take your exchange if you want to. I wouldn't do it, but it's perfectly fine. Yeah, matter of taste. In any case, coming back to our initial position here, what Vidit did, he took the pawn on d4. But I can tell you that white had a way of keeping the pressure here. This was actually a big mistake. Knight b2 was a big mistake. After knight b5, black is better in every position. But what he could have played here instead, white had an interesting move here that I wanted to ask you for. If we just leave the topic for a moment. Anyone, can you think of a way of developing white's initiative? I think you should not be too negative about white's play. I think the bishop is great so far. It's only one pawn. So anyone else? Can you find a very unnatural move? Very unnatural. Yeah, not exactly Razor. Razor looks like it's Vidit or it's Stockfish connected. Bishop c2, exactly. That's what the computer wants to play here. I think that's a great move. Humans usually don't like that. We don't like to put our bishops where they can be taken by the opponent's knights. But this works actually rather well because it's the other bishop that white wants to keep on the board. And after knight takes, queen takes, we also get an extra file we get rook d1 in sooner, no? So this was actually not so clear. I think I'm happy to play white here, to be honest with all of you. It's unnatural, exactly. I think so too. That's why he did not play this Gomez in the game, bishop c2. It's not a move that comes easy to us, but look for yourself. It's not easy for black to find a good move. The knight is hanging. We have bishop a4 coming up. You can take here also, of course. I will take back. I think it looks kind of nice for white now. So yeah, that was an interesting move. The computer could not give a completely clear verdict on this. It was not so sure about this. I think white has some compensation here. But even so, I like Vidit's choice because I think it was difficult for anyone to find the move, except Razorbill, of course. It's difficult to find this move, bishop c2. What he played in the game was much more natural, bring out another piece and so on, speed up development. But then knight b5 was a very good move. Now, you said some other moves here, right? People were saying knight takes f3, for instance. I'm not sure, but I think I should take with the queen here. So those of you who said this, feel free to tell me what you were planning to do next. I'm all ears here. I'm all ears. What would you like to play here with black? For instance, knight e7, if you thought about that, like attacking move, I think I'm almost winning with knight e4. Or I might be wrong, but it looks interesting. No, knight e4. You would have to play knight e5. I cannot play knight e6 because you take. But if I move my queen somewhere, oh, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe this is actually good for black then. I had some hopes of attacking here. Let's see. Could I play queen f4? Yeah, you will excuse me if I hang something here, but I still think it looks interesting, no? or is this crazy? Knight takes d3 and knight d6. Yeah, I don't know. Queen takes d3 says RKDK. Yeah, I was going to play the same move anyway. Rook d1 is also interesting, like Mikhail Tal, but okay, I'm hanging this guy. So you're probably right then. You're right, RKDK. This is not really working for white. Wow, I felt I was so close here. So if that's not so, I think I should just play rook d1, no? Yeah, that's of course what I should play. Sorry, I should play... No, I can't play. It's not my turn here. So what did Greg say? g5. Oh, sorry, I missed Greg's comment. I was saying knight e4 and then knight e5, and I could not find white's next move here. And no, it's probably important, Greg. We would like to see it. g5. Oh, g5 is good after. Oh, I didn't see that move. Queen takes d3. Queen takes d3, and then... Sorry, how does this work? Queen f4. But I don't know where to put my queen. I think this is also possible. I can't really tell which is the best square here, but okay. Queen f4. Okay, bye, Wyatt. Yeah, nice to see you. See you next time. This is what Greg was talking about. Rook d1 and g5. I'm just trying to trace that move g5. When did it appear? It was probably not here. I have no idea. Knight e6 check. I would still go for this. But I'm not Mikhail Tal. Not sure if this is going to pay off. It probably won't, no. Knight b5 coming up maybe next turn. Yeah, I have no idea. g5 instead of queen takes d3. Oh, wow. That's a cool move then, g5. That's really pretty. So I have to take on g5, I guess. And then my attack is not working anymore. Is that what I should believe here? Yeah, I guess that's the sad truth then. If I take with the knight, Greg will take with the queen on d3, I guess. And then my attack is not working anymore. Is that so? Yeah, it looks like. I see what you mean, Greg. This is not convincing. Seems winning. Yeah, so you're probably right. I guess I messed it up then with white. Yeah, it was my bad here. So maybe I should just take with the knight then. Yeah, let's not make it too complex. Yeah, let's play simple chess. Knight takes, queen e2, rook d1. Let's put a knight on e5 and so on. Yeah, I think this is what we should play here. All right. So yeah, nice find by Greg. So in any case, I'm just saying it's not so simple for black in this case. If you take like that, I should then take with a knight. We have seen that now. And yeah, that's really painful bishop, no? So excellent. Knight b5, that's what Vidit played here, which made life much easier for him. So he accepted the sacrifice and then he pulled out this little trick and he went on to win this game. Okay, we will continue. I have a few more examples I wanted to show you. So we will now slightly leave this situation where we just cash in. No, we will just cash in. We will leave this situation and we will talk about something slightly different. This is a game played in the US. Antipov with white and Kogan with the black pieces. Antipov, former world under 20 champion. And he played a very interesting move here. Okay, I guess since you know the topic of today, everybody can guess what white played here. Anyone would like to guess what white played? You're right, King Sam. They played here, bishop takes g6. All right, it's your choice here, guys. Like I told you at the very beginning, some sacrifices, they cannot really be declined. The price would be too high, right? And other sacrifices, they have to be accepted. So have to be declined, sorry. So here we are. You have 1 minute to find the best reaction with black here. The first move is not difficult, but the second move, I would say, it's a huge challenge. If you can find the second move here in 1 minute, then my congratulations. But it's possible, of course. Sui Random, you're very close. I think in that case, I give check and I hit the rook with 95, maybe. We will talk about that. Thanks for bringing that up, Sui. Sarthak, you're on the same track. Same idea. Very solid move. But I think there was some problem with that move. If I remember correctly. I can hit the pawn, I think, something like that. Yeah, anyway, you get half a point. I like the way of thinking. So half a point if you said. Those of you who said rook f7 on move 2, what do you play against knight e6 check? And if king g8, I go queen d3. That's something to look into. So nobody got the second move. Yeah, I could imagine that. It was very hard to see it. Only computer would find that move. Very, very difficult. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Let's ask Fianchetto. Fianchetto, what was your solution here? The first move is not difficult. Of course, we cannot live with this bishop invading on g6. We have to take it. And Antipov played here knight d4. We can see that this is the big threat. It cannot really be prevented. What was your move here, Fianchetto? I know that, what's the name of it? Stockfish or chess. Yeah, they did not accept this. Rook f7, knight e6, check. Where to put the king now? It's a little tricky. You can see that this is like a Mikhail Tal sacrifice. All white pieces are well placed. You're basically waiting here for black to make a mistake. Computers can hold this, but for humans it's difficult. But it's actually not so bad, rook f7. It's not so bad. King g8, exactly. And now you have to find the tricky move here, Fianchetto. Tricky move, the kind of moves that we filter away sometimes. Now we filter away these moves. Anyone? It's not wrong, Marcus and everyone else. Please don't be too mathematical. Only because Stockfish said there is a better move, that doesn't mean that human-wise this is wrong. You just have to find the move that Sui and Hollow Blade are saying here. Aha! Please go ahead, Sui, or whoever who's moving. Razor Wheel is also saying this exactly. All right. Thanks then to Fianchetto, and we will ask Sui for the next move here. Stockfish is always right. Yeah, but you can have multiple choices, Kind King Sam. This is a very nice approach. Some of you remember Petrosyan's games. He would give away the exchange on many occasions. This is a very practical choice. If you compare these two pieces, the knight and the rook, I'm actually not sure which one has the highest value right now. So that's a very good move. Rook to 7, that's a funny way to protect the pawn. We can take back, and black will be basically okay in this position. Somehow they are still defending this position. White has some moves like rook e6, looks a little scary, but probably black can fight back here in some way. I wonder how, though. Looks a little scary still for black, right? But I guess, yeah, you can go for some counter attack, perhaps bring up the rook or something. Maybe you can try to trade off some piece. Is that possible? Like rook e5 or something? Yeah, possible to play like this. Yeah, slightly scary, but still possible option. Much better than what happened in the game, by the way. So the best move here, you told me so many different moves here. So I don't know. You can just tell me which move would you like to look at from all the moves. The king moves you were saying here. Yeah, the preemptive king move, like king h8 and the king g8. I looked at some of those. King h8 loses to knight e6. You can see the point here is basically that if you move away the rook from the g file, I'll take and I'll take. You would have to stay on the f file, playing rook f7, and here white has a very nasty move. Anyone? Nasty move for white? Yeah, tricky to see this, of course, in a game. But there is a nice, exactly, queen f4, says Razor on L, queen f4. Very nasty, because now we are threatening to give check on h6, then we can take the pawn. Hard to defend black in this position. I feel like it's some kind of Mikhail Tal game where Tal would just put the pieces in the right place and the opponent's position would crack eventually. So difficult. Aha. So how to help you out with this one then? You have to play a really unnatural move. Yeah, we can also look at king g8 was proposed by some people here also. Knight e6, rook e8. Yeah, I have this also in my files. Queen g3, annoying attack at the pawn. You have to play king h7, knight e5, and black barely holds here, but it's complex. It's a long variation, and it's very tricky to defend this. So, all right, I will give you a hint. Yeah, this is a funny question, but how many times, how many exchanges can you take in one single move? If somebody's about to win the exchange like this, how many exchanges can you take? Only one, of course. Aha. So what if we offer a second exchange? Anyone? You're very close, Razor and Kind King Sam. You're very close. Yeah, Kind King Sam. All right, Kind King Sam, maybe this was a little random, but that's the right move that you're saying. Where is Kind King? Oh, I can't find you here, but that's the right move. You certainly got the right move. The chat is very active, so the names are falling away. If you wait just one moment, I'll try to look you up so that you can play out the move here. It was very random. Yeah, I understand. All right, Kind King. Oh, please go ahead. Tell us, what was the best move here? Very, very random, you would say. You're inviting them to play knight e6 and take one of the rooks, but it won't really help their attack. Knight e6, you put the king on f7. Yeah, I apologize if this example was too computerish, you will say. But this is actually very nice for black, because now suddenly we have this resource coming up. So if you take on f8, I can take back. I have rook f5 coming up. And the other nice feature about this move, of course, is that you can't check me on g5 anymore. So I think it's beautiful, this move, rook c5. I think it's very pretty. But it's findable, but not in a 1 minute quiz. You're right. But then I could not use it here, right? Knight takes e5, you can take with the pawn. In this way, you also bring in the queen a little closer. And there was some variation where white would use the d5 square. I can tell you that also. there was some variation where white could use this square with a queen. Could I show you one of those variations? It was somewhere here. Yeah, like if black plays d5, for instance. If black played d5, I don't know if anyone thought about that, but in that case, I can go knight e6, king f7, and here I can actually play queen takes d5. So that's another reason why it's good to have the rook on c5. But I admit, it was very difficult to find this in the game, rook c5. Beautiful move. Somehow it's connected to mobilizing the pieces to the defense. We're controlling these squares and so on. But okay, human-wise, almost impossible to find this. You can take with the queen and queen f5. I see. Okay. Let me continue. Let me show you. Let me see. Was I supposed to show you this today? Yeah, I think so. I'll show you the next one then. This is a very nice one. Let's see. Let me see here. So yeah, in the game they played something. What did they play in the game, by the way? Sorry, I forgot to tell you what they played in the game. He got destroyed in the game, unfortunately. Kogan. He played king h8, and after knight e6, rook e8, queen f4. This is how Antipov proceeded in the game. There was knight g8, queen f7, rook e7, queen takes g6, and white went on to win. Yeah, that was a nice attack. Aha, Antipov, yeah, very strong player. So he probably knew that maybe this attack won't work 100%, but probably my opponent will not find the right way out in the game, right, over the board. It's very tricky. So yeah, this would be my piece of advice. Don't rule out crazy moves like rook c5 when you're defending. Almost everything is possible. All right, I'll bring up the next example here. So this one is kind of interesting also. We were talking about some sacrifices which could not be declined, right? Some sacrifice cannot be declined. And here you have one of these. White played at this point the move knight takes d5, right? This is easy to understand. White is trying to break through on the king side. Satarov with white and Madaminov with the black pieces played recently in the Sunway Sitges. All right, guys, it's your turn here. How on earth are you going to save the black king here? You will really need special powers to save the king. But I think this one is more more doable than the other one that we just looked at. However, I would advise you to look very carefully at move 3. It has a very nice solution. So let's see if you can find this. Yeah, I think we can stop there. So you get 1 minute. Let's see if you can find this. First mission, of course, establish how to take back on g5. Yeah, you need to be careful here, guys, because white has a very ugly threat coming up. Aha, there is a danger. I won't tell you if you played. Yeah, many dangers here. I'm sorry, but many dangers on the sky. Please be careful. Many bad things can happen to us here. Okay, so okay, we'll see. Actually, that's a nice try. Those of you who said, yeah, that rook move, it's a nice try. But I think that is a safer choice. Anyway, we will see. We will check this. Okay, so most of you, okay, we have some people who got very close. Connor, Marcus, HDI, Toriches. Aha, great work. Did somebody get even further? Brian, you're also very close. Basically, that's the right idea, Brian. We will come to that, okay? We will ask Connor on this one, okay? We will ask Connor. Please go ahead, Connor. Tell us, first of all, how should we take back on d5? It's very important to take with a rook. In the game, unfortunately, black took with a pawn, which meant that white had a very pretty attacking move. Anyone? Pretty attacking move with white. Getting ready for mate. Of course, L. That's what white played. F4. How beautiful this is now. Queen h2 is coming next turn. Almost no matter what black plays here. This is the course of the game. Black had to run away now. King g7, but then white had too many pawns in the center. This is how the game went. You can see that there is coming also rook takes or even queen takes could come up at some point here. For instance, if you take with the bishop, I think the safest choice here is just to take with a queen, right? I think this is what would happen here, and white would have a very nice Endgame, correct me if I'm wrong. This is not working for black, right? Oh, it is working. You can play king h6. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, that cannot, nothing is working. Oh, that seems to work for black. Yeah, you're right. I didn't see that. So probably what the white would play here is simply to take with the rook instead, right? Yeah, probably they have enough. They have enough attack in this case. No, yeah, this should be winning for white, I suppose, or maybe not. Wow, I'm still a little confused here. Anyone who can see this clearer? I'm only saying that there is a check on h6 that I'm eager to use in the very end. Razorbill says bishop f4 in that line, really? We can check that again, of course. What did we talk about? Queen takes d5, queen takes, bishop takes, king h6, and bishop f4. Wow, that's a beauty prize for that move, bishop f4. What a pretty move. Wow, but it's not really working, Razor. No, it's pretty, but it's flawed, right? Because I have bishop h5. Yeah, but very pretty idea. Yeah, congratulations for a very interesting idea. So I think white should just continue the attack here. Yeah, Mikhail Tal spirit, we just continue attacking them. And I think ultimately something will hang here. I can tell you from just simple logic, in this case, the rook is not participating. So white should have something here, right? f6 is proposed here also. Oh, can we play f6? That's maybe a good move here. So that we introduce the bishop to the game. Aha, we can take next turn. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to play, Oski. But people said f6 to me. This, to me, seems like the most natural choice. Again, I'm just saying that the rook is not playing, and this means that ultimately they are down in activity in general. No, their activity is not sufficient here. So that's the wrong way to go. So the thing is that we really need to take back with the rook so that we can escape with the king. So we will come back now to who was talking? Connor. No. All right, Connor, go for it again. Sorry to have interrupted you. So that's how he should have played in the game. Rook takes. We will continue the attack here with white. Rook h3 and king g7. If you said rook h5, I will happily give you half a point for that solution. What I could try here is this tricky idea. I can start with this move, installing the threat of queen h6. You will have to play here queen f8, and now I can try to harass the bishop with rook g3, I think. I'm not completely sure about this variation. What I don't like, again, sorry for generalizing, but I don't like the fact that my rook is not playing now. And I can see that white is coming with rook h3. So a little tricky. Now, is this equal? Yeah, I don't know. No idea. Looks tricky to me. I would like us to focus on Connor's variation instead. So Connor said here king g7. Yeah, could you play king g8 also? I guess you could, but this looks nicer now because you get the plan of bringing the king like that. I think it's better, yeah, seeing what happens next in my variation. I'm pretty sure this is what we have to play. So we take back, white plays their favorite move, f4, and now, again, we're talking about facing sacrifices. Yeah, if you take like that, I think you get destroyed, right? I think it's just queen g2 and it's mate coming up next turn. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's one of those sacrifices that you cannot accept. So what did you play here, Connor? You played rook h8. If you played rook h8, you get half a point. Oh, you played g4. I haven't looked at that move. Interesting. We can look at it now. First question, of course, can I take and somehow claim that I have a dangerous double threat here? f6 and queen h6? I think that's tricky for black to defend now. It's too much. What a beautiful bishop, by the way, helped by all these pawns on the light squares. Yeah. So good work, Connor. But I think if you get here in the game situation, you will make up your mind and you will start looking at other options. And then you can see other ideas here. So the answer is rook h8. You get half a point for rook h8. The reason I don't like it is that white gets this massive pawn chain like that. I cannot take, I think, due to this smart tactic on h2. Correct me if I'm wrong. This looks like a nice piece of geometry. Yeah, that endgame is not good news for black. So you could play like that, but then you have to play something else here. Yeah, I would not play this. Did anyone solve everything? No, nobody. What about bishop b4? Yeah, I think you have to play like that. And what would white play? I guess queen h2 and e6 and so on. Yeah, doesn't look promising for black, right? So there is a better solution. Yeah, there is a better solution. Or even e6 straight away. You're right, heuristic. Okay. If you think about our very, very first example today, if you remember, the example where Idani gave up the exchange. I can show you, of course, if we go back to the examples. If we check the very first example, I'll try to bring it up. Okay, our very first example today, it was this one, right? We were saying that white, after bishop e8, they could take, but they have to be aware of the plan of running away with the king. So for that to happen, we have to move the queen to a square where it's protecting the rook. Some people said queen e1, other people said queen a2, like Huschenbett played, and we concluded that white was okay in that position, right? So if we now apply this idea, if we go back to our position, let's see if we can do that now. Here we are, right? Let's see. So we're back again. White play knight takes d5. Black has to take with the rook here because it helps the king to escape. Check, and after king g7 takes, white play their favorite move, f4. Don't play king f8 because we need the rook on the other side, right? Queen d7, that's a funny move. Yeah, I don't know if that really works, queen d7. It looks illogical to move away the queen. It needs to protect this square, right? Aha, you're right, RKDK. Please go ahead, RKDK. We have a winner here. I think some other people were saying the same move. I think that's a very pretty move, and I think it's human, no? Rook g8. It's basically the idea that we will run to the other side. Okay, you can take it from here, RKDK. That pawn wall is pretty good, but you know what, L? Maybe you can sacrifice back something here, right? After g6, you don't have to ask black twice for the best move. Exactly, bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and it seems that black is okay here. We should, of course, make a few more moves. You can see black is close to achieving safety. Also, white's king is not completely safe. As for the bishops, I'm not so impressed by white's bishop anymore. However, we should try RKDK here. We should test RKDK for this move. Be very careful here, please, RK. Very, very careful. I'm also a little scared here, Tori. I'm also a little scared. But they only have two attacking pieces. Queen f6 looks like a blunder, but maybe we have some preparation here from RKDK. Else we should look for another move, right? Yeah, no problem, no problem. It's easy to go wrong here, as Tori says. So king a8, you're right, of course, king e8. It's time to run. We can run away. If you play instead rook f6, you give me a chance to play rook h8 and invade with the queen. Yeah, very tricky variation. So we just run away. They can check us again if they like, but RKDK can dodge all the bullets here. Please continue, RKDK. These moves are not so difficult. Aha, you can play rook e6. Maybe that allows rook h7, so I would look for a different way of interposing here. Aha, it seems that we have brave king in all the examples. Yeah, I agree. Rook h7. And the last move here, you must be tired now. Yeah, you can probably play that also, king c8. I think that's okay. There was some trick here for white. Bishop takes e5. Is that possible? No, that's probably not possible. Yeah, I think it's possible, right? Bishop takes e5. I'm sorry, RK. This is not easy to see, but you can see there is a trick. Like if bishop takes, there is queen f. And if you take, I end up in a good endgame. So if we just adjust that last choice, what do you think? Yeah, by common sense here, we should not put the king. We can put the king on e8 instead. Aha, I think that's better. So, all right, that was a very complex example. Yeah, I'm sorry to confuse you with this example, but I thought it was interesting. Knight takes d5 in the game. Black did not really appreciate the danger they took like that, and they got destroyed after the move f4. Very pretty. Good chances in a game situation, of course, to win with a sacrifice like that. Your opponent have to play in a very precise way. We have to accept the sacrifice, but then what's important to understand here is that, after rook h3, that we can give back material. So that's what RKDK did here. Rook g8, brave king thinking, and here when they play g6, don't even think about moves like bishop e8 and so on. We really have to get rid of those pawns. So bishop takes, we're giving back, it's time to give back, and black seems to be barely holding here. So, all right, I think that's it for today. I had some more examples, but I think I will save them for next time. This was very tricky. We will talk about it more next time. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. See you next week then. Thanks, Chessable, Chess Dojo, Greg Shahadi, Chessable, and so on. Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.